Okay, let's take a look at the Waldstein Piano Sonata. Now, we've looked at this one before, but let's take another look at it in terms of how that modulation happens. So just as a reminder of how this goes, let's listen first to remind ourselves what it sounds like and what key we end up in. So we're starting in C major. And there's the second theme of our sonata exposition, and we are in E major at that point. So starting in C major, ending up in E major. And we talked about this in terms of, chromatic modulation and some various other things, but exactly how that modulation happens we didn't get into because we didn't quite have the vocabulary and the harmonic knowledge yet. But now we do. So looking around here, we can see this is now still in C major, back in C major, going through here. Then we give this and get to this 6-6 harmony. And 6-6 stays around for a little bit, but then we introduce this A sharp. So now we have C, E, there's an implied G here, and A sharp. Now when you think about that, you kind of think, well, that doesn't really stack into thirds very well. But if that A sharp weren't A sharp, if it were spelled as B flat instead of A sharp, we'd have the note C, E, G, B flat. And if you think about that, we're in the key of C major, C, E, G, B flat, that would be 5-7 of 4. And so we might expect then for a 4 chord to follow, but instead, no, it's 5 of our new key, E major, after this point. But there's a reason that Beethoven spelled it as A sharp here and not as B flat. We get the sonority, and we get a sonority we expect in C major, that is 5-7 of 4, but then resolves to this B major triad. Again, it's not an accident that it's spelled as A sharp instead of B flat. Because look at this. C natural in the key of E major, which is where we're headed, is flat 6. A sharp in the key of E major, where we're headed, is sharp 4, lay, Fi. Notice both of these then resolve Fi up to So of our new key, and lay down to So in our new key. So this is actually a German Augmented 6th chord of our new key, E major. So this is how Beethoven gets us from C major to E major, distantly related keys, but using a sonority that's common to both keys. In this case, we hear it initially as 5-7 of 4 when we first hear it, when we're first getting into that spot, when we're still in C major. Our ears tell us it's 5-7 of 4, but as it resolves, it's resolved as if it's German Augmented 6 going into the new key. So this is a really effective way to achieve a modulation, especially to distantly related keys like this, by transforming German Augmented 6th into a 5-7 or vice versa, taking a 5-7 and transforming it into German Augmented 6 via some kind of inharmonic reinterpretation, which is what we have here. This creates a really smooth transition into a new key. It can sometimes be a little jarring because we expect one resolution, but then we don't get it. It's almost like a deceptive motion getting into a new key. But the key factor here is that German Augmented 6th sounds like a dominant 7th chord, and composers take advantage of that and then resolve it like the other thing. So in this case, it's a chord that we hear it as 5-7 of 4, but it resolves as if it's German Augmented 6th. Now, the opposite can be true. You can arrive on a harmony that's German Augmented 6th in the key that you're in, but then it resolves as if it's 5/7. So this is the kind of thing we're going to start getting into and talking about more in class. Let's listen to this again while following it. And when you hear and get to this point, try to put yourself back in the shoes of the first time you're ever hearing this, you experience that harmony as 5/7 of 4, and then sort of get duped into its resolution as 5 of the new key of E major. So let's listen to this again. And so on into the secondary theme. So, in harmonically reinterpreting German Augmented 6th as a dominant 7th chord, or reinterpreting a dominant 7th chord as a German Augmented 6th in order to achieve a modulation. There you have it. More to come in class.